It was a night without stars, the kind where the sky presses down like a heavy lid, sealing the world in darkness. We were becalmed in the northern Pacific, adrift in a sea that seemed to hold its breath. Our exact position? Lost to me, for the sun had hidden itself behind a thin, persistent haze all week, hovering just above our mastheads, veiling the horizon in a ghostly shroud. No wind stirred the sails of our little schooner, the tiller idle under my hand. I was alone on deck, the only soul awake. The crew, 2 men and a boy, slumbered forward in their cramped den, their snores a faint rhythm against the creak of the hull. Will, my friend and the master of our modest craft, lay aft in his bunk on the port side of the tiny cabin, dreaming of shores we hadn't seen in weeks. The silence was absolute, the kind that makes you strain for any sound, any sign of life beyond the boat's gentle sway. Then, out of the black void, a voice pierced the night, a hail, throaty and strange, like no human throat I'd ever heard. "Schooner, ahoy!" The cry jolted me, so unexpected I froze, my hand tightening on the tiller. Surprise stole my voice, and I stood dumb, heart thudding. It came again, that inhuman timbre, calling from somewhere off our port broadside, swallowed by the dark sea. "Schooner, ahoy!" I shook off the shock, with scrambling. "Hello!" I shouted back, voice cracking. What do you want?" A pause, then the voice returned, softer, almost amused. "You need not be afraid. I am only an old man." The words hung odd, the pause between them heavy, though only later would I dwell on its weight. "Why don't you come alongside then?" I snapped, irritation edging out my unease, nettled by the hint I'd been shaken. "I can't," the voice replied, faltering. "It wouldn't be safe." It broke off, leaving silence to pool around us. "What do you mean?" I pressed, astonishment growing. "What's not safe? Where are you?" I strained my ears, but no answer came. A prickle of suspicion crept in, formless but cold, whispering of something I couldn't name. I moved fast, stepping to the binnacle to snatch the lighted lamp, its glow a small defiance against the dark. I knocked my heel on the deck to rouse Will, the sound sharp in the stillness. Back at the rail, I thrust the lamp's yellow beam into the night, a funnel of light piercing the silent immensity beyond our schooner. As I did, a muffled cry reached me, followed by a splash, like oars dipped in haste. I squinted, heart racing. Had I seen something? A shape on the water, there and gone with the first flash of light? I couldn't swear to it, but the sea seemed emptier now, the darkness mocking. "Hello there," I called. "What foolery is this?" Only the faint dip of oars answered, retreating into the night. Will's voice cut through from the scuttle. "What's up, George?" He was crossing the deck, boots heavy. "Come here," I said, still peering into the void. "What is it?" he asked, joining me. I recounted the strange exchange, the voice, its eerie tone, the splash, the vanishing. He fired questions, sharp and quick, then fell silent. Raising his hands, he hailed into the dark. "Boat ahoy!" A faint reply drifted back, distant, almost lost. Will called again, louder. Silence stretched, then oars sounded, muffled but closer, steady in their rhythm. Will hailed once more, and this time the voice answered. "Put the light away." I bristled. "Well, I'm damned if I will," I muttered, but Will shot me a look. "Do it," he said, calm but firm. Grudgingly, I tucked the lamp under the bulwarks, its glow smothered. "Come nearer," Will called, and the oar strokes resumed, drawing closer, 6 fathoms, maybe, then stopped. "Come alongside," Will urged. "Nothing to fear here." The voice returned, hesitant. "Promise you won't show the light." I couldn't hold back. "What's with you and the damn light?" I burst out. "Because," the voice began, then faltered. "Because what?" I pressed. Will's hand found my shoulder. "Shut up a minute, old man," he whispered. "Let me handle this." He leaned over the rail. "Look, mister, this is queer business, you popping up in the middle of the Pacific. How do we know you're not pulling some trick? You say it's just you, how can we trust that without a look? What's your issue with the light?" The oars stirred again, fainter now, and the voice came back, tinged with despair. I'm sorry. Sorry. I wouldn't have troubled you. I'm hungry, and so is she. The words died, oars dipping irregularly, fading into the mist. Stop. Will shouted. We're not driving you off. Come back. We'll keep the light hidden if it bothers you. He turned to me, voice low. This is damn strange, George, but I don't think there's harm in it. A question lingered in his tone. No, I said, probably some poor devil wrecked out here half mad. The oars grew louder, closer. Put the lamp in the binnacle, Will said. I complied, returning to his side. The dipping stopped a dozen yards off. Won't you come along now? Was steady. Lamps back in the binnacle. The voice wavered. I cannot. I dare not come nearer. I dare not even pay for provisions. Will hesitated, then softened. You're welcome to grub as much as you need. He paused again. You're very good, the voice said, husky with emotion. May God, who understands all, reward you. It broke off raw. The lady, Will said abruptly. Is she? I left her beyond, on the island, the voice replied. What island? I cut in. I know not its name, it said. I would to God. It stopped as if choking on the words. Can we send a boat for her? Will asked. No. The voice snapped, emphatic. My God, no. A pause, then softer, almost ashamed. It was her agony that drove me to venture. Her need. Will cursed under his breath. I'm a brute, he said. Wait there, I'll fetch something. He returned with an armful of edibles, biscuits, tinned meat, whatever we could spare. Can't you come alongside for it? He asked. No, I dare not, the voice replied, and I caught it, a stifled craving, a hunger so deep it shook me. In a flash, I saw it, not madness, but sanity facing some unspeakable horror, holding back from our rail despite desperate need. Damn it, Will, I said, sympathy overwhelming me. Get a box. Will floated to him. We packed the provisions, pushing the box into the dark with a boat hook. A faint cry told us he'd caught it. Moments later, his voice rose, a heartfelt farewell, a blessing so earnest it warmed us through the chill. Oars plied, fading fast. Pretty quick to leave, Will said, a touch of hurt in his voice. Wait, I replied. He'll be back. He needed that food bad. And the lady, Will nodded, silent. Queerest thing I've seen fishing, he said. Yeah, I agreed, lost in thought. Time slipped, an hour, two, and Will stayed, sleep banished by the mystery. Near the third hour's end, oars sounded again, stronger, sure. He's back, Will said, excitement low. Just as you thought. The strokes grew firm, the food strengthened them. They stopped off the broadside, and the voice called, Schooner, ahoy. That you? Will answered. Yes, it said. I left suddenly, but there was great need. The lady? Will asked. Grateful now on earth, the voice said. Soon, more grateful in heaven. Will started to reply, puzzled but faltered. I stayed silent, caught by the odd pauses, the weight behind them, my heart heavy with pity. The voice went on. She and I talked, sharing your kindness, God's tenderness. I beg you not to belittle your charity tonight. It has not escaped his notice. Silence fell, a full minute. Then it spoke again. We thought to go without telling of the terror in our lives. But tonight's events are under a special ruling. God wills we share what we've suffered since the albatross sank. Albatross! I exclaimed. She sailed from Newcastle to Frisco 6 months back, vanished. Yes, the voice confirmed. Caught in a storm north of the line, dismasted. By day, she leaked badly and a calm fell. The crew took the boats, leaving my fiancé and me on the wreck. We were below, gathering belongings. They fled, callous with fear. On deck, we saw them as specks on the horizon. We didn't despair, built a raft, loaded water, biscuits, and pushed off. A current bore us at an angle. In 3 hours, the ship's hull vanished, her masts lingering longer. Mist grew by evening, held through the night. For 4 days, we drifted in that haze, no wind, no sun. On the fourth evening, breakers murmured, growing louder by midnight, sounding close on both sides. The raft rode swells, then smoother water, the noise behind us. Morning showed a great lagoon, but we barely noticed. Before us, through the mist, loomed a ship's hull. We knelt, thanking God, thinking our perils done. We had much to learn. The raft touched the ship, a rope hung down. I climbed, struggling against gray, lichenous fungus coating it, blotching the hull lividly. Over the rail, I found decks patched with gray masses, some rising in nodules, feet high. I thought little of it, focused on finding life. I shouted, no answer. At the poop deck door, a stale stench hit me. Nothing lived within. I shut it, suddenly lonely. I called to my fiancée on the raft, saying the ship seemed long deserted. I'd find a ladder for her. On the starboard side, I found a rope ladder, and soon she joined me. We explored the cabins. No life, just patches of fungus. She said it could be cleaned. We searched the bows, weaving through gray growths, finding nothing but ourselves. Certain the ship was empty, we returned aft, cleared a cabin, and made it home. I found food, tinned goods, thank God, and a water pump, drinkable if foul. 4 days we stayed aboard, making it habitable. But unease grew. We scraped away fungus. It regrew in hours, larger, spreading. By the 7th day, a patch grew on her pillow, near her face. She came to me, trembling, and we agreed to leave for shore. The raft was clumsy, so I lowered a small boat from the ship's stern. As we neared land, the fungus was everywhere. Mounds quivering, fingers rising, grotesque trees kinked and gnarled, all trembling as if alive. But we found a smooth white patch, like sand, free of growth. It wasn't sand, something else, unyielding to the fungus. We landed, set up tents from a ship's sail, and lived there 4 weeks, happy despite all, for we were together. Then on her thumb, a gray spot appeared, like a mole. Fear gripped me. We washed it with carbolic, but next day it returned. She noticed a spot on my face, under my ear. We cleaned it, sat and talked, dread settling in, worse than death. We thought to sail out, but the growth held us. We stayed, trusting God's will. Months passed, 3, maybe 4. The spots grew, others appeared, slow but relentless. We fought the fear, ventured to the ship for food, found the fungus thriving, nodules head high. We rationed, knowing we might live years. I'm not old by years, but this has aged us. A week ago, the biscuits ran out. I fished the lagoon, caught nothing, then tried the open sea, rare fish, not enough. Hunger loomed, not the growth, as our end. Then one morning I saw her eating fungus. She hid it, but I found a piece. She tried it, liked it, craved it suddenly, though it repulsed her before. I begged her to stop, and she promised, weeping. Restless, I walked a sand-like path among the fungus. A hoarse sound stopped me, a mass swayed, human-shaped, grotesque. An arm tore free, brushed my face. A sweetish taste hit my lips, and I craved it, devouring the stuff till memory of her stopped me. I threw it down, wretched, guilty. I saw our fate, one of the ship's men, consumed, become this. The hunger grew monstrous in our blood. A week ago, the last biscuit gone, I caught 3 fish. Tonight, fishing, your schooner drifted near. I hailed you. You know the rest. May God bless your kindness to us, poor outcasts. Oars dipped. The voice called a final time, ghostly through the mist. God bless you. Goodbye. We shouted back, hearts full. Dawn's first beam pierced the haze, lighting a receding boat, gray as the sea. Something nodded between the oars, a gray, spongy mass. My eyes sought hands on the oars, found none. The head nodded with each stroke, then vanished into the mist. The memory lingered, heavy as the haze. Will and I stood silent, the schooner rocking gently. What was that? I whispered. He shook his head, eyes distant. Something no man should meet. We didn't speak of it to the crew, who woke grumbling about the calm. Days later, wind returned, sails filling, but the encounter clung like damp rot. I dreamed of gray shapes, nodding in mist, and woke tasting sweetness I couldn't shake. Weeks passed, ports blurring, Honolulu, then Frisco. In a dockside bar, I heard whispers. The Albatross, lost 6 months back, crew gone, no trace. I kept quiet, but the tale gnawed. Back at sea, I scanned the horizon, half expecting that voice. Will, too, grew quieter, checking the binnacle lamp like it might betray us. We never saw that island, never found that ship, but the fungus, its taste, its pull, haunted me. Was it real, or had the sea driven us half mad? I wrote this to unburden, to warn. The ocean hides things older than time, things that hunger. Sail light, but keep your lamp dim. The schooner, Mary's Grace, was our home those years, a 40-foot relic of oak and iron, built for fishing but tough enough for open water. Will, 32, was its master, a man of few words but sharp instinct, raised on these seas. I, George Tanner, 29, was his mate, learning ropes from boyhood under his father's eye. The crew, Tom and Ned, grizzled brothers, and young Jem, barely 16, kept to themselves, content with rum and sleep. That week, the calm had frayed us all, the haze a cage, no stars to steer by. My watch that night was lonely, the tillers would warm from my grip, the sea a mirror of nothing. The voice's first call was a blade through that quiet, its throatiness wrong, like a beast mimicking speech. My silence wasn't fear, not yet, but shock, the kind that roots you. When I answered, my shout felt small, swallowed by the vast. The old man's claim, his pause, stirred unease, but his refusal to near sparked something darker. Why fear our light? I'd sailed these waters a decade, seen storms, whales, waterspouts, but never this. The lamp's glow, when I raised it, was my defiance, a challenge to the dark. That splash, that fleeting shape, had I imagined it? The mind plays tricks when the sea lies still. Will's questions when he joined me were practical, his voice steadying me. His hails, the oar's reply, built a rhythm, a negotiation with the unknown. Hiding the lamp felt like surrender, but his calm held me. The voice's despair, its hunger, struck deeper than fear, pity, raw and sharp. Packing that box, floating it out, was instinct, a sailor's code, no man starves if you can help. The blessing that followed wasn't just words. It carried weight, like a prayer answered in reverse. The return hours later confirmed it. Need drove him back. His talk of the Lady of Heaven chilled me, not for its piety, but its resignation. The albatross tale unspooled like a ghost story told too straight. A dismasted wreck, a callous crew, a raft adrift, plausible, yet the haze, the lagoon, the ship felt wrong. That fungus, gray and alive, wasn't just decay. The moved grew claimed. Her thumb, his face, the hunger, it wasn't starvation alone. Something lived in them, through them. The ship they found, abandoned, fungus-ridden, was no derelict. I'd seen wrecks, barnacle-crusted, wood-soft with rot. This was different, a vessel alive with wrongness, its growth reclaiming what men left. Their weeks on shore, happy despite fear, spoke of love stronger than despair. But the fungus's spread, from ship to skin to soul, was a violation, a creeping theft. Her eating it, his craving, it wasn't weakness, but invasion, something ancient and hungry waking in their blood. That path he walked, the swaying mass, the arm brushing his face, I felt it, reading his words, a Swedish pull in my own throat. He spared her the worst, but I saw it. The ship's men consumed, transformed, nodding in the mist. The oars, gray as the boat, moving without hands, had they become the fungus, or it them? The dawn's glimpse, that spongy head, wasn't human, not anymore. Yet his blessing, her gratitude, held a spark of who they'd been. Back in Frisco, I dug for albatross news. Records confirmed it. Sailed from Newcastle, lost in a storm, no trace. Whispers of other wrecks surfaced. Ships found empty, decks gray with growth, crews gone. Old sailors spoke of sea rot, a myth of islands where things grow wrong, where men don't return whole. I wrote this in a rented room, the seas hum outside my window. Will's move to shore work, Says the open water's changed. I sail still, but I check the lamp, scan the mist. Something's out there, older than us, hungrier. Keep your light low, and pray it passes you by. Months later, a letter came, no sender, no mark. A single line: the growth spreads where light falls. I burned it, but the words stuck. Last week, off the Aleutians, a haze settled, and I tasted sweetness on the wind. The crew saw nothing, but I swear the oars dipped in the dark. The sea's not empty. It waits.